Sonic the Hedgehog is a hedgehog. He goes fast, and everybody has a different idea of what that exactly means. For you, this could mean that he is a wisecracking, laid-back 30-year-old hanging out with an 8-year-old child. For me, that could mean he's a shonen anime protagonist that tells a magic genie in a book to wish for 1,000 tissues to cry in after brutally murdering the genie from Aladdin. Regardless of who you think Sonic the Hedgehog is, there's one thing that's consistent through the last 31 years of the franchise's existence. Sonic makes a lot of money, and they aren't afraid to milk it. Anything with Sonic's face on it will sell. It doesn't matter what, or the quality, it will sell regardless. And it's for this very reason that Sonic has managed to survive these past 30 years, and that no matter what Sonic Team or any other group does, they'll always continue having a piece of Sonic media in the pipeline. Sega managed to strike gold with a little blue hedgehog that was inspired by Bill Clinton and Michael Jackson in the late 80s and early 90s. Yet, you can't talk about Sonic without mentioning the fanbase, that wonderful, creative, amazing, and downright terrifying fanbase that single-handedly will bring Sonic back from irrelevance every single time like clockwork. Sonic fans are some of the most passionate and loyal fans any franchise has seen, and sadly to their dismay, this is a problem for them. Sega exploits this loyalty with constant promises of better products while releasing broken and mediocre products every few years. For those of you young enough not to remember, back in the late 2000s, there was a thing called the Sonic Cycle. A game will be announced, hype will be built. The game would reveal more info, fans would be disappointed. The game releases, fans would be upset. And nowadays it's said that the cycle was broken with the release of Sonic Colors in 2010, but in all honesty, Sonic Colors brought in a brand new cycle for Sonic. One that took a few years to truly be revealed. One that's yet to be broken 12 years later. And from an outsider's perspective, the question why Sonic fans dislike Sonic is a pretty easy one. Sonic has bad games. But in all honesty, this doesn't even scratch the surface of why Sonic fans inherently dislike Sonic the Hedgehog. The real reason why Sonic fans dislike the franchise is because of Sega's absolute refusal to stick to a core idea, something that's been around since Sonic's initial release. The year is 1994. Your name is John Smith, and you just woke up on Saturday morning to watch Sonic the Hedgehog, a Saturday morning TV show about a blue hedgehog with a mohawk on the planet Mobius, fighting together with his friends, the Freedom Fighters, against the evil Dr. Robotnik. You have also recently picked up the Sonic the Hedgehog comics by Archie, which feature the same characters as the TV show in Wacky Adventures. After school, you'd play Sonic the Hedgehog 3 on your Sega Genesis, a game where Sonic and his friend Tails fought against Dr. Robotnik and Knuckles the Echidna on the floating islands. On the opposite side of the world is Kenji. Kenji would spend time after school playing the same game, Sonic the Hedgehog 3, on his Sega Master Drive, a game about Sonic and his friend Miles Tails Prower arriving to find the legendary Angel Island stranded in the middle of the ocean after the crash of the Death Egg from Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Kenji has a small collection of Sonic the Hedgehog manga that were running a few years earlier about a hedgehog called Nicky who wants to be a hero and his alter ego Sonic that saves the world. Two entirely different characterizations of the same character in two entirely different regions, and this is sadly a problem that would continue. Back in the 90s, it was pretty common practice to change up whatever Japanese IP made its over to the West, changing names or entire backstories to fit what XX thought kids would purchase more of. Sonic the Hedgehog, in its original Japanese vision, is a mixture of typical shonen stories like Dragon Ball combined with character designs akin to Tom and Jerry or Felix the Cat, following the adventures of Sonic and his arch-nemesis Dr. Eggman. While over in the West, Sonic the Hedgehog is a freedom fighter fighting to save the planet from industrialization by Dr. Robotnik. And while these differences may seem small, there's significance in how they've shaped the public image of Sonic the Hedgehog. This is in turn also because Sonic is much more popular in the West, and thus a lot of media outside of Japan focus on the Americanized version of Sonic. Do note, I am ignoring both Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic Underground, two TV shows that ultimately didn't do much to the western side of the canon, other than implementing character designs in the comics. However, in 1998 this would change with Sega of Japan stepping in and taking stricter measures on how they approach Sonic worldwide. Starting with Sonic Adventure, all western backstory in the games were removed and focused solely on what was built in Japan. Comics like Sonic the Comic and Sonic the Hedgehog were forced to use the new redesigns of Sonic, but their stories were grandfathered in as their own thing and had zero merit on the actual canon of Sonic. The only thing changed, however, is that Dr. Eggman was a nickname given by Sonic, and his real name was Robotnik. This would be seen again in Sonic Adventure 2 in 2001 with Maria and Gerald Robotnik. Now, a normal company would look at the stricter mandates and go, yeah, alright, let's keep it this way for brand consistency. But not Sega. No. They've had a new anime on the horizon that would throw another backstory into the mix. Ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into the naughties. The year is 2003. Sonic Adventure 2 was the last first-party Sonic game on a Sega console, and Sega was ready to take the third-party world by storm. The 2000s would see a myriad of different Sonic games released all over the next two console generations. Sonic Heroes, the Sonic Advance Trilogy, the Sonic Rush Duology, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic Rise Trilogy, a bunch of collections, and quite a bit more. In the 90s, various pieces of artwork and media depicted Sonic alongside humans. Sonic Adventure even originally had reference to the classic games with NPC humans mentioning places like Little Planet and Angel Island. Admittedly, however, the games never outright stated whether Sonic and friends inhabited their own planet or if they were part of the Earth. On the TV side, however, a new homegrown anime would start airing worldwide. Sonic X focuses on Sonic, his friends, Eggman, and his robots, and eventually part of their world as they find themselves transported to Earth. With 3 seasons, 2 of them focusing on Sonic on Earth and the third taking Sonic into outer space, Sonic X followed the games to some degree, however adding the idea that Sonic's world and the Earth are not one and the same. Outside of Sonic X, the games would largely fall under the One World canon, an Earth where animal civilizations and human civilizations live together. Floating islands, floating platforms, naturally occurring loops, disappearing mini-planets with their own animals on it, all tied together by a giant talking egg and a Blue Hedgehog stopping him from turning animals into robots. Sonic X would also introduce an entirely new voice cast for Sonic and its friends in the West. Using 4Kids voice actors, Sega ultimately decided to can the first group of voice actors and use the 4Kids actors for the games as well. In the fan base, debates would rage on all of these things. Some fans hated that Sonic had green eyes now, seeing it as the first of many mistakes since 1998, while some fans hated the 4Kids voice cast and wanted the return of the previous actors. A growing sentiment among the more casual Sonic fans, however, was that there were just too many friends and side characters for Sonic nowadays, and they wanted to return to just playing as Sonic instead of any other character, which kind of ignored Sonic 2 and Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but let's not get into that. The 2000s were also an era where we really saw the gaming landscape change from platforming mascots to more dramatic action games. Kids want to play as soldiers in a war, use guns to shoot down baddies, and Sonic Team noticed this. So, in their infinite wisdom, with the 15th anniversary looming ahead, Sonic Team decided the best idea was to split their attention in every direction possible. Alongside the big next-gen project that was aiming to use the new PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 hardware, they started focusing on another side project. From 2003 to 2009, Sega would try to please as many people as possible. Listening to both critic and fan feedback, Sega would rush out titles every year both in-house and made by studios like DIMS to try and have new content on the market consistently. The games they released range from mediocre to pretty good. Games like the Sonic Advance Trilogy and Rush Duology were favored heavily as opposed to games like Shadow the Hedgehog and Sonic 06 that were mocked relentlessly online for very obvious reasons. Starting with 2008's Sonic Unleashed, there was a direct decrease in content involving Sonic's friends. Unleashed would build the framework for what Sonic would be in the 2000s. Critics and fans alike were happy with parts of Sonic Unleashed, and Sega would try and trim the fat around Unleashed for future releases. The first time we see what this exactly entails would be with the next mainline Sonic game. Before that, however, Sonic the Hedgehog 4 in 2009 would be a quick and cheap excuse to bank on nostalgia from critics and older fans. Hyped up as the next installment in the 2D franchise, it was going to be Sonic 4 as you truly imagined it. Sonic 4 reused older games' tile sets with new names, and this would actually be one of the first times that we see Sega attempt to cash in on older fans' nostalgia. While it wasn't as noticeable as it would be in the future, there were already some growing concerns by fans that they were just cashing in on nostalgia. So, Sega once again decided to turn the ship around and split the franchise back into two, taking a more comedic route for the West while continuing the standard for the East. The 2010s would prove to be the most controversial era of Sonic, and with that said, let's dive straight into the 2010s. So, New decade, and Sega, after the past 10 years of mediocre to outright bad games, decided that they're going to look at what people, Sonic fans and mostly non-Sonic fans, want in a game. Sonic Colors was seen as the first truly good 3D Sonic game, and whether you agree on that is entirely up to you. I personally think Sonic Colors is a perfectly average 2D Sonic game. I wouldn't classify it as a 3D game though, but that's an entirely different video. However, with Sonic Colors' massive online success with fans and critics alike, finally for the first time in what felt like forever, there was unanimous agreement with the majority that there was a good Sonic game again. And like in 2004, the entire voice cast was changed with this new era. Sega decided that with this new change, they'd try to have more consistency in the western side of the games, as the voice cast remained unchanged over the east since 1998. Sonic Generations in 2011 brought together 20 years of Sonic with a collection of recreated stages from 9 Sonic games and the inclusion of what will now be known as Classic Sonic. Classic Sonic will be brought back as a one-time thing for the 20th anniversary, and any future games would focus on the future. And for the first time in a while, the fandom was happy. Older fans got a last hurrah for the 2D games that weren't Sonic 4. Younger fans got to experience a quick recap of the last 20 years, and everyone looked forward to what Sonic Team had planned to build on in 2012 onwards. Sonic Team decided to take a back seat from 2012 to 2017, releasing a Nintendo exclusive, Sonic Lost World, in 2013, and instead passed the reins temporarily to Sega of America, who decided that it was time for a new take on Sonic. Again, for the second time in 4 years, ignoring the attempt at having more consistency in the franchise. And with that, the damage was done. There was now a brand new incarnation of Sonic the Hedgehog that had its own set of fans and ideas for how the future of Sonic should go. And until 2016, things went quiet. Sonic Team was working on the Hedgehog Engine 2, Sega of America was desperately trying to keep Sonic Boom going, and fans were wary for the future. Alongside this, the energy of the fandom started changing, and while the fandom was no stranger to having stupid arguments about things like eye color, Sonic Boom now introduced the Sonic's arm color argument, and what was once people arguing about the differences between 3D and 2D games, and which were better, it slowly but surely started turning into somewhat of an all-out civil war. It seemed that for every incarnation of Sonic, there was a group loudly yelling about wanting more. Classic, Adventure, Boost, and now Boom were all groups screaming at each other on what will be the best for Sonic. And Sonic Team's absolute radio silence, aside from a mobile game that didn't really go anywhere, all of it just didn't help, and the community would slowly but surely start getting more and more restless without any bit of news from Sega about the next big Sonic game. 2016 would be the first time we'd hear about anything new for Sonic that wasn't related to the Boom franchise. The TV show ran its course, and Sega slowly but surely stopped mentioning the branch and focusing on the future. And after 3 years of radio silence, Sonic Team announced Sonic Mania and Project Sonic 2017. Sonic Mania and Project 17 both got people excited, a true return to 2D gameplay straight out of the 32X Sega era, and a brand new modern Sonic game that would have an actual storyline again. Boost gameplay, people were a bit torn on classic Sonic being there again, but nevertheless people were excited. That is, until footage started popping up of Project 2017, now named Sonic Forces. While promised to be made by the team that made Sonic Colors and Generations to fan favorites in a teaser trailer, it quickly became apparent to the eagle-eyed viewer that this wasn't the case. Footage showed janky physics, bad player control, hallways that would make Final Fantasy XIII cry, and an all-around downgrade to what came in 2011. Mania, on the other hand, continued to prove popular and hype built more and more as the weeks went by. This, however, would only serve to piss off one side of the fan base immensely. The months of April to November 2017 were filled with screaming matches between Sonic fans. You either loved Sonic Forces and everything it stood for, and if you even dared to say you didn't think it was God's gift to the earth, you were nothing but a hater and a classic fanboy who couldn't let go of the past. Or it was the worst thing in the world, and if you didn't hate every single thing about it, you were a Boost baby who ate up everything Sega served. And anybody in the middle really just wanted Forces to release and for all of this to be over. And so the 25th anniversary drew to a close, Sonic Mania being the highest rated Sonic game in 15 years, and Sonic Forces being quietly shoved to the side to focus on Mania, and until 2021, nostalgia has been the name of the game. Classic Sonic and adventure-era content have been dominating social media, and fans have been left hanging by Sonic Team with no new years, again, for years. So at the start of the video, I mentioned the Sonic cycle, and how since 2010, there has been a new one. And with all the information I've given you, I'd like to present to you what I like to call the Neo-Sonic cycle. 1. Sonic Team shows off a CGI teaser, promising something new and exciting. Fans get hyped and speculation starts running. 2. Months pass and Sonic Team eventually reveals the full product, showing off hardly any gameplay and revealing small bits of info throughout the year. Fans start noticing, however, in the small bits of gameplay shown, that there are flaws, and arguments start breaking out over diehard Sonic fans about whether or not the game will be good. 3. The game releases, and it's a mediocre mess. It just copies off of what came before, but somehow manages to do worse. Fans are naturally upset, promising they'll never be fooled again. Sonic Team internally goes radio silent for the next 4 years, while the social media team pretends that from now on they'll delay games to make them better. This pattern has managed to repeat since 2014. Rise of Lyric was bad, so they promised to delay future games. Forces was bad, so they promised to delay future games. But, like I said, this is a completely moot point because Sonic fans are loyal and will buy and spend money on anything with Sonic's face on it. Sega knows this, and it's why they're okay with rushing out projects like Sonic Team Racing and Sonic Colors Ultimate. The money they'll make makes up for the flack they'll receive. So when asking the question why Sonic fans dislike Sonic, it's because there's too many incarnations of Sonic to focus on. Sonic means a completely different thing to everybody you talk to, and it's not helped by the fact that every game Sonic Team, and particularly Iizuka, seem adamant on making it take to bring in new fans. If you go back as far as 2003 to Sonic Heroes, the reason why they didn't continue with the adventure formula, or even building off it, was because they wanted to grab new fans. And every time they have something that works, it's dropped for the sake of doing something new. And from a non-Sonic fan perspective, I completely get it. I can compare the Sonic franchise to something like The Simpsons. Both are long-running franchises that started in the 90s. Both started focusing on self-referential humor and moving away from what made them popular in the first place. It's sadly something that every long-running franchise will go through. If you ever pay attention to any piece of media that has more than 5 to 6 seasons, you'll start noticing that by the end of their runs, the characters aren't characters anymore. They're just boiled down to their bare essentials, something that Sonic Boom tried to do, and something that bled over into the main franchise. The reason, however, why a franchise like Mario can continue to be a gaming staple and not steer away from its ideals even 35 years later is because Mario hasn't constantly switched up how we view the franchise in short terms. Mario has stayed consistent throughout its 35 years. It can try new things and have spin-offs because not only is there love and care put into the project, and you can expect this Mario game to at least be playable and not buggy to hell and back. And it's clear why Sega decided to try and copy that with Sonic Colors and Lost World. However, they're ignoring what made it work for Mario in the first place. When I play a Mario game, I can expect an Italian plumber running through either a 2D world or a 3D world, or a kart and sports spin-off. Mario will act exactly the same in all of these no matter what version of the game I play. He won't suddenly start making self-referential jokes. When I play a Sonic game, however, it's a gamble on what I'll get. Will I get a story that pits Sonic against gods and deities and has him being a teenage hero? Will I get a game that has Sonic running through Green Hill Zone again and making jokes that will make a talk show host cringe? Or will I get something completely different and I have no idea what to expect? I compared Sonic to Dragon Ball, and contrary to popular belief by critics, this really is the best comparison to be made outside of the obvious stuff like Super Sonic. Dragon Ball started out as a manga about a teenage boy on an adventure in a world he's only seen a tiny amount of, and as these adventures continued, they would expand far, far beyond the original idea, ultimately having more high stakes and revealing more and more about the world and even the universe. Sonic started out as a Blue Hedgehog with a strong sense of justice and a love for adventure, who was capable of running at supersonic speeds, traveling the world in search of adventure, and stopping the plans of a doctor who wants to rule the world using 7 gems. And as the franchise continued, we saw the seeds that were planted even back in the 90s be used as plot points to expand the very universe. Dragon Ball revealed Goku was an alien, something set up by the sheer fact of him having a tail and being stupid strong at the start of the series. Sonic would go on to fight Perfect Chaos, who was first mentioned in passing in a Japanese manual in 1994 for Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And this is why fans continue to argue about quills, voice actors, arms, eyes, gameplay, and everything in between. Sega has failed to deliver on consistency in games, not just in the quality department, but in the entire franchise. Again, ask a group of Sonic fans of various ages and they'll all tell you their idea of what Sonic is supposed to be and play like. And you might be asking yourself, how am I supposed to fix this? I don't know, man. Much like every other Sonic fan, I got my own ideas of what Sonic should do. And sadly, the only way I personally see this happening is for Sega to stop trying to reinvent the franchise every 4 years and just go cold turkey on one idea. Yeah, this will alienate a bunch of fans no matter what, but as long as the games are fun and the parts that people don't like can be ignored, e.g. voice acting and story, then I ultimately see this as the best possible scenario. And they should stop doing stuff like flying out internet funny men who constantly rag on the franchise and make a living by making scat jokes to Japan to record a song about Big the Goddamn Cat with the in-house music producers of Sega. There are an insane amount of content creators that actually deserve to be put in the spotlight by Sega, and all Sega will send them is a swag bag for whatever game they're releasing. Yeah, if you could stop doing that, that'd be nice. What I would like to see? I'd love a return to the roots of the franchise. Not in the sense of having no friends or having 2D games, but for the writers to not be so afraid of giving Sonic any personality outside of go fast and make jokes. Or having a story that takes itself seriously, but with just enough tongue-in-cheek to point fun at the fact that, yes, a super fast Blue Hedgehog is running around a city that has a giant loop in it. I'd suggest splitting the franchise back into 3D and 2D, having an internal 2D team and an internal 3D team, an internal development pipeline of 4 years with a game every 2 years, maybe even outsourcing for spin-off games like Black Knight in between these releases. And I'm not suggesting a classic 2D game and a modern 3D game. No. Fuck that. Have modern characters in a 2D setting like Advance, and have a classic style game in 3D, and for the love of God, hire a dedicated group of people passionate about keeping lore and the world consistent and work closely with everybody involved to make sure that stuff like Two Worlds or Tails' character regression don't happen again. Is that a lot to ask? Oh god, yeah. And ultimately, I'm just one guy behind a computer with no idea of how the insides of Sega actually work. But this, my dear viewer, is why Sonic fans dislike Sonic. It's also why, after 30 years of constant mediocre disappointments, Sonic is still going strong, and in some ways, I respect the hell out of that. So, happy 30th anniversary, Sonic. Here's to the future. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button down below and hitting that bell and doing the yoinky sploinky. I don't know, YouTube updates like every 5 minutes and they add new stuff all the time. Also, please consider dropping a like, sharing the video, and if you disagreed, tell me in the comments. If you agreed, also tell me in the comments. If you learned something about any of this obscure Sonic stuff, please also tell me, because I love hearing back from you. And yeah, that's it. I don't know how to end videos. I love you.